weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA.
All right, thank you. 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Hope you're having a good Monday. And you know we are at the end of the year, and I have here some of the year in review stuff that I wanted to go over just to kind of remember what happened this year. And I'm looking on Facebook. My son and his wife are in New York. You see these pictures before I do sometimes.
Well, I got to indulge in them. I couldn't indulge too much yesterday, but I did today, and I just love them. I had to post one of them in Central Park on my page. I love New York. I love Manhattan. That's one of my most favorite cities in the whole wide world.
All right, so let's talk about some of the news that happened around town, around the country, and around the world this year. So let's start with Ocala, and then we'll work our way back.
Okay.
Or work our way out.
Okay.
One of the stories in 2014 that affected all of us in a profound way was the accident on I-75 that killed the highway patrol trooper, the lady.
Oh, yes.
Also killed the tow truck driver. In fact, Matt, who was just here, knew the tow truck driver.
He was his friend. Good friend.
And then there was a third person killed, too. The date of the news story was May 5th, at least that was the news article, May 5th. Mm-hmm. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper was killed Saturday in a crash on I-75 in Marion County. The southbound lanes of I-75 near mile marker 341 south of Ocala had been closed after the crash but reopened late Saturday night. While the Florida Highway Patrol was on the scene, a pickup truck plowed into the wrecked cars, killing Florida Highway Patrol trooper Chelsea Richard and tow truck driver John Duggan. John Duggan was the man that Matt knew.
Yes, his friend.
Richard, who was 30 years old, had been with the Florida Highway Patrol for 9 years. She is survived by a 4-year-old son. And if you watched the funeral online, the funeral was at, tell me the name of the church again. It was at First Baptist Church?
Yes.
It was at First Baptist Church. If you remember, the governor showed up. And, and a lot of the Highway Patrol was there. Tons of Highway Patrol officers were there.
All of the law enforcement groups were represented there.
A pedestrian, George Robert Phillips of Ocala, was also injured in the crash. I think he died.
I think so.
I don't want to say something out of line.
I have to check.
Anyway, it was just a sad story. And if you remember when we were talking about Trooper Chelsea Richard, Robin, I remember you saying to me, "Well, this story has really hit you hard," meaning me. Yeah. And
I did.
I didn't notice that it hit me any harder than any other story, but for some reason, I guess you noticed something in me that I didn't notice in myself.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in production room number 2, and I was just glued to the funeral service for some reason. I was just watching it, and I was recording it too. I was getting some sound bites from it.
Yes.
And one of the things that was said at the funeral was from one of the Highway Patrol troopers who took the opportunity while the governor was in the audience, or in the church. I shouldn't say audience.
Yeah.
But while he had an audience with the governor, I guess is the best way to say that. He, as a Highway Patrol trooper, said, I don't know who up in Tallahassee is thinking that we should raise the speed limit on the interstates, but it's a dopey idea or something like that. And I really think that made a big impact on the governor and the decision not to raise the speed limit. So,
yeah, thank God.
All right, that was one news story from this year from Ocala that I was able to remember as I was going through. Another one from Ocala. Let's see if I have these in some kind of order here. The baggy pants thing.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of a fun story.
It was fun. It was just so absurd.
Fun and absurd, yes, because the city had Let's see, Mary Sue Rich, we love you.
Yeah.
But it was one of those doozies, I think,
Exactly.
to ban baggy pants, and then the mayor accidentally signed the thing, apparently, and then
Accidental.
and then they tried to undo it, which they did undo it, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it was
baggy
just
pants was illegal for a little while in Ocala. Now it's not illegal.
tax dollars at work.
And our listeners made some really good points. Our listeners, who are relatively conservative for the most part, were making some really good points that this was just a little over the top because
Exactly.
you show more skin if you're wearing a bikini than if your pants are dropping and you're showing your underwear.
That's right.
Which in most cases, I don't ever see the whitey tighty whities. I always see the boxers with
Exactly.
some design to them or whatever.
That's right.
Another story from 2014. You might remember. In fact, this is kind of an ongoing story. The prayer vigil was protested by some atheist groups, or at least one atheist group in Ocala.
Yes.
Our mayor and police chief Greg Graham were both targeted by an atheist who was not happy with the idea that a prayer vigil was called back in September to try to counter the shooting violence that was going on in the city.
That's right, on the west side of Ocala. That was awful. Just so awful, those drive-by shootings.
The article that I'm reading from is from WOGX Fox 51. It said, with heads bowed and eyes closed, community members in Ocala prayed for peace at a community prayer vigil Wednesday afternoon. This was September 24th or so. After two recent shootings that resulted in 2 children and an infant being shot, Police Chief Greg Graham met with leaders in the faith-based community. Our minister said, let's have a prayer vigil, let's do some walks, let's carry some signs when we do the walks. So they asked me if I would help write a letter. So he did. In a letter posted on Ocala Police Department's website, Facebook, and Twitter, the chief said the crisis required a fervent prayer and encouraged residents to come to the community prayer vigil, something a local atheist group took issue with.
Yeah, they'd rather see riots instead of peace.
They, too, were at the vigil pushing for the separation of church and state. Show me in the Constitution, by the way, where it says church and state are
Exactly.
separated.
You've combed the Constitution.
Had it been called a vigil to fight crime without prayer, then we would have no problem with it. It's just the manner in which it was done, said Francis Porgal of the group Ocala Atheists. Anyway, that was one of the stories from 2014 as well.
Yep.
Oops, I'm turning my pages the wrong way.
I see that.
I have to do them backwards.
I'm paying attention.
Because that's how I did it. All right, the next story in Ocala, big story from 2014. I know you know this one. This is, look at 3 pages long. The city voted to not provide the money for the Yankees baseball stadium.
Yep. Yep, that was a big one.
This goes back to April of 2014. Our friend at the Star Banner, Susan Latham Carr, wrote the story that I'm reading from.
Yeah, she's a great reporter.
She wrote, there will be no Ocala Yankees. By voting unanimously on Tuesday to end the city's purchase and sale agreement with Ocala Trophy Ltd., which owned the land where a new stadium was to be built, the Ocala City Council turned off the lights on the ballpark that, if developed, might have been the home to the New York Yankees Class A minor league team.
Well, they didn't want to foot the bill themselves. They wanted the taxpayers to foot part of it.
Oh, I remember.
That was a big issue.
See, all you do is bring it up, and it becomes an arguing point again. You know, a debating point. You know,
Right, exactly.
The city council voted unanimously to end the city's purchase and sale agreement with Ocala Trophy, which owned the land. Oh, I'm repeating it, aren't I? Earlier in its negotiations with the ball club, the city paid an additional $20,000
Yeah.
for the land option. Mayor Ken Gwynn, who began the initial negotiations to bring the team to Ocala, asked the council if it would be willing to extend the land option if the Yankees agreed to wait another month. Long story short, it never happened. A lot of people never let go of that, and it doesn't seem like it'll happen now, but you never know.
Exactly. What happens when there's a new regime?
All right, now this one, let's see, this is more for the state. In 2014, how could you forget this one? Charlie Crist and Rick Scott being the 2 major contenders for the governor's job.
Yes.
Decided to only debate each other, not to allow any third-party candidates to be part of their debates.
Exactly.
And one of the biggest, most fun things about that debate procedure was when the governor, the former governor, the governor, who was the one that wanted the fan? Charlie Crist.
Charlie Crist.
Charlie Crist wanted to have a fan at his podium.
Exactly, the former governor.
And Governor Scott said, no. You said no electronic devices. That's electronic.
That's right.
And so the media was having a good time with it, calling it Fangate.
Yes.
A live televised debate was put on hold for, I can't remember how many minutes, like 14 minutes or something?
Yeah.
While they waited to see what was going to happen?
I know.
Oh, 7 minutes. It was a bizarre and awkward 7 minutes
Such an issue.
in which the governor refused to appear on stage because Crist insisted on a small fan.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a little break. We will continue to remember the news of 2014 when we come back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A warm day today with some sunshine followed by increasing clouds, high 79 to 83. It'll be mostly cloudy and mild tonight, though 63 to 67. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon, high 75 to 79. On Wednesday, variable cloudiness, high 72 to 76. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
Hi, Danny Werfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
I'm Major George Patterson from the Salvation Army. Please stop by our family store at 120 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala, where on Wednesday you have a 50% off clothing and bric-a-brac. On Friday, 25% off furniture and large appliances. And on Saturday, stop by to our yard sale from 8:45 to 11. Donations can be made by calling 352-732-4469 and we'll pick it up. Funds from the store go toward the services that we provide in Marion County.
When I started thinking about this year's Christmas greeting, I wanted to make it something meaningful. So here is my heartfelt wish for us all. Good health, prosperity, and the peace to be happy, whatever our circumstances. Remember the reason for the season. Merry Christmas.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
All right, 12 minutes before 11 o'clock, Joe Martone is helping us remember some of the events of 2014 that were local. And one that he brought to mind was when Bobby James from the school board was running against Jane Morley, also wanting to be on the school board. And he put up a website called something about Hindu Jane, remember?
Oh,
Hindu,
I remember that
Hindu
one.
Jane.
That
so,
was really something.
and the way it turned out is he ended up keeping his seat on the school board.
Not by much, though.
No, not by much.
No, not by much.
But it was a big story this year, and it's worth remembering the big stories. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Now, those are the ones from Ocala, and with the exception of the one with the governor debate, they were all Ocala. But let's look at some of the other ones that were around the world, around the nation. In January of 2014, the first death in the anti-Russian protests in Ukraine happened. So just about a year, that story is just about a year old already.
Yeah.
Ultimately led to the Russian invasion of Crimea, which they said they wouldn't do.
Exactly.
And the beginning of what many are calling the new Cold War with the United States, just after we were buddy-buddy because of the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So after we had this wonderful Sochi, was it Sochi, Russia?
Yes.
Moment, and
The
then
Olympic Games.
Yeah.
In Sochi, yeah.
In February of 2014, that was when, believe it or not, Jay Leno, it seems like he's been gone longer than that, but that's when he had his last show as host of The Tonight Show.
Oh, my gosh.
22 years he was the host of that show.
Yeah, that seems like so long ago now.
15 million people watched Jay Leno say his goodbye on The Tonight Show.
Yeah. And there was more than that watched Jimmy Fallon, right?
I don't know. Jimmy Fallon started, of course, the next, well, I don't think it was the next
like
day.
a week or something, right?
It was like a gap in there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was amazing. That seems like so ancient ago.
Obamacare, formerly known as the Affordable Care Act, took effect this year. It was plagued by technical glitches and consumer confusion. Kathleen Sebelius, who led the rollout of the new law as Health and Human Services Secretary, stepped down in April of this year. Open enrollment is now underway, by the way. It's open until mid-February, although I thought there was a gap in that, too.
Yeah, I think so.
But the Supreme Court case could still dismantle the entire program, so I guess that's something we're not sure about.
Yeah.
Another big story that happened in 2014 was in March, when we saw the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 with 239 people on board and no longer heard from. Nobody knows whatever happened to that plane.
No.
They were traveling from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, and of course, an eerie reminder this morning of that with the airline that went down.
Oh, the Asian airline.
Similar area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds like they are seeing remnants of the airplane, so they might be able to figure that one out. It's just a horrible story.
It is.
You know, you're always told that when you're flying someplace, the most dangerous times are when you're taking off and when you're landing.
Yep.
You're often you're led to believe that once you're up at 33,000 feet or whatever it is, that you're fine. Mm-hmm. And while most of the time it's true, not always, right?
Yeah. I'm more comfortable when I'm off the ground.
Oh, me too.
You know, when I'm going.
Oh, my prayers are when we're taking off and when we're landing.
That's right.
Once we're up there, this is no problem. Now we just got to get down.
Exactly. Big party.
This 2014, a viral video of NFL running back Ray Rice punching in the face his then fiancee, Janae, sparked a national conversation about domestic violence.
Because he punched her and then he drug her out of the
elevator
by her hair. Yeah, he just drug her out of there. It's just so disgusting.
Rice was suspended indefinitely by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in response to public criticism that the initial decision to ban him for 2 games was not enough. Mm-hmm. Rice appealed and won and has been reinstated in the league.
Yeah.
So
I just hate that when the bad guys seem to win.
Other stories for us news junkies that happened in 2014. Back in April, this was a horrible story. More than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls were kidnapped by a group that called themselves Boko Haram.
Oh, yeah. That was awful.
Those schoolgirls, by the way, were brainwashed, and video was shown of them chanting whatever they were being told to chant. Mm-hmm. And apparently attempts to rescue them were not successful. A few of them did escape, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But for the most part, those girls aren't gone.
No.
Wonder where they are.
Yeah, they're brainwashed, so they're never going to surface again.
The group that we had the name change sent to us in the news media a few times, it was ISIS, and then it was ISIL, and then it was just IS.
Right.
It was a brutal year because they were being brutal in Iraq and Syria. The terrorist group calling themselves Islamic State, or IS, gained momentum and captured territory throughout the region, killing thousands along the way. The group posted barbaric videos of beheadings. How cool can forget that this year?
Oh, I know. So disgusting. They just have no respect for human life at all, not even their own people's lives. 2
American journalists were among those who were executed. The United States continues to fight back through airstrikes on the ground, on the group, in Iraq and Syria. The one thing that boggles my mind is why we had some American citizens who decided they wanted to go help out. They were empathizing with the cause.
Oh yeah, yeah. They tried to bring it here in the U.S., but they were bombed.
Well, they were getting on planes and they were flying to be with them too. Like, I want to join.
exactly.
I want to join you, ISIS. I agree with your. I agree with your philosophy.
Yeah, right. Spoiled brats that don't know what to do with their time.
In May of 2014, U.S. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl came home. He had been held captive by the Taliban in Afghanistan for 5 years. Still an ongoing story because, and nobody can agree whether he was a deserter or whether he, how he should be dealt with. So that's actually still going on. Jodi Arias, how do you say her name?
Yeah,
Jodi Arias.
Yes.
This was one of those stories that was happening, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. And then I kept seeing her name and clips of the video online so much that I finally said, "What is this story anyway?" This was the horrible story of this woman who apparently killed her boyfriend, Travis Alexander. The fate of Jodi Arias lies in the hands of a jury hearing a retrial of the sentencing phase of her case. She was convicted of killing her boyfriend, but the first jury was unable to agree on whether she should receive the death penalty or spend the rest of her life in prison.
Yeah. Yeah, she killed him. Just kill her.
That's what they
Get
say.
rid of her. That's what I.
House Republican leader Eric Cantor lost his primary race to conservative David Bratt, bringing an apparent end to Cantor's 13-year political career. We'll see. I mean, it's not over till it's over, right?
Right.
Not that I'm rooting for anybody. I'm just telling you that's the way I would look at it if I were him.
Well, sure.
Or if I knew him.
I hope he does.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, the Ferguson, Missouri story, big story of 2014. It's still going on, I would say.
Yeah, huge.
Racial tensions erupted this year because of some of the police versus teenager shootings. Especially if it's a white policeman and a black teenager.
Right.
Which was the case in Ferguson, Missouri. Michael Brown, being the unarmed black teenager, shot and killed by a white police officer, Darren Wilson, whose name we know now. Protesters clashed with police for weeks after the shooting. The violence escalated again after a grand jury voted not to indict Wilson. He has since resigned from the Ferguson Police Department, citing safety concerns for his family and fellow officers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was threats, and more threats.
When we had the actor on earlier, and he was talking about how his civil rights were violated as a child, Iron E. Singleton,
yes,
the guy who plays on that TV show,
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, he really needs a guy like that to be stepping up and making some statements that everybody can relate to.
Oh, certainly. Certainly.
All right, let's see. Basketball star LeBron James left the Miami Heat to return to his home state, Cleveland Cavaliers, in July. Apparently big news for those who live in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. Big sports
It was a big deal.
There.
Other news stories that happened this year. Let's see. I have... okay, we had that one already. George Clooney, in entertainment news. George Clooney said yes to Amal Alamuddin in Venice in September.
Yes, he
So
did.
George Clooney, no longer an eligible bachelor.
Nope. Hollywood's most eligible bachelor is done now. They're expecting.
Does he do anything for you? I like him, but I mean...
Oh, sexually, no.
I mean, I don't see...
No.
I can't see men the way women see men. I can see women
Yeah.
the way women see men, I guess.
I never saw men like that. I just like
Really?
the way they act and have their, different various roles.
He just
because
seems
they're
like
never
fun.
the same.
And
Yeah.
she's a pretty lady, so
Oh, she's gorgeous.
It's showbiz stuff.
Yeah, she's a model.
Also this year, Scotland said no to independence from Britain.
Yeah, that was a huge story.
It was a huge story, and it was a very close race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But didn't the news seem to be focusing on those who were in favor of the no vote?
Yeah.
Didn't it look like they were only showing people who were happy that it was a no vote?
Yeah.
I mean, how did you feel? Did you have any feelings about it at all?
I did. I think that they should have had their independence.
Oh, really?
But when I really delved into it and saw what it would do to their economy, and it would come crashing down because they don't really have any form of government and to live any other way. I think it's better that they don't have their independence now and that they try to build up their own system if they want to go for it again, because it really would have hurt them, I thought. What did you think?
Well, I thought it was a bad idea, but I didn't think it through as much as you did.
Yeah, because I think independence is great. Look at, the United States got independence from England, so I thought that'd be good. But then I looked more into it.
I have some more
good.
top news stories of 2014, so we'll kind of continue this when we come back. But right now, let's take a look at the news that's happening right now.
Okay.
As we end the year of 2014, and we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Authorities now say 7 bodies have been found after a fire in a Greek ferry boat in the Adriatic Sea. All of the survivors now off the boat.
It proved to be quite a big fire, and then we got out on deck. The flames were huge. It was actually just very scary.
Nick Channing Williams, one of the 400 plus on the ferry. The search goes on in the Java Sea for a missing AirAsia jet with 162 on board.
Australian planes reported seeing objects in the sea during their search for the missing aircraft, and Indonesia's vice president says the debris could be from the plane, but other Indonesian officials say there is insufficient evidence at the moment.
Fox's David Piper. NFL coaches losing their jobs with the end of the regular season. Atlanta coach Mike Smith and Rex Ryan of the New York Jets, who also gave GM John Idzik his walking papers. There's also word the Chicago Bears are firing GM Phil Emery and coach Mark Trestman. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Do you run a small business? Do you want it to grow? Well, then don't let your business slow down or shut down because you lost your computer files. Get Carbonite and your files will be backed up to the cloud automatically. No matter how many computers, servers, or external drives you have, Carbonite has an affordable plan. Start a free trial today at Carbonite.com. No credit card required. Use offer code BACKITUP and get 2 free bonus months with purchase. Carbonite.com. Offer code BACKITUP.
How would you like to have customized professional business cards that give you the confidence you need for every new business opportunity without needing any design experience? With Vistaprint, you can, because Vistaprint makes it so simple for business owners and business dreamers to get the customized tools they need to help their business thrive. And right now, you can get 500 high-quality professional business cards for just $9.99. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Go to Vistaprint.com today and enter promo code 3366 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3366.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. USDA is reporting now that the ag exports are forecasted $143.5 billion. That's $9 billion below fiscal 2014 and down $1 billion from August. Most of the decline from August is a result of lower prices for bulk commodities. Grain and feed exports are forecast down $1.2 billion, mainly due to declines in corn, wheat, and certain feed products. Oilseed exports are unchanged from August as lower prices for soybeans and soybean meal offset a higher expected volume. Cotton exports are forecast down $400 million as a result of reduced global import demand and lower prices. Horticultural exports are unchanged. They set a record last year, $37 billion. The forecast for livestock, poultry, and dairy is raised $800 million to $33.7 billion on higher priced meats, especially for beef, as well as larger volumes for pork and the broiler market. He said U.S. agricultural exports are now forecast at $116 billion. That's down $1 billion from August, but $6.8 billion higher than fiscal 2014. So imports are moving up. The U.S. ag trade surplus is forecast at $27.5 billion, down from the $43.3 billion of last year.
The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has a program to reward and encourage environmental stewardship for ag and forestry producers. The Conservation Stewardship Program, or CSP, is voluntary. Applicants must be USDA operators. CSP participants will adopt new conservation practices and manage existing ones. For more information on CSP, visit nrcs.usda.gov or call NRCS. Helping people help the land.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. If this had been an actual emergency, such as a hurricane or tornado, official messages would have followed the alert tones. WOCA serves the Marion County area. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Happy holidays from all of us at WOCA.
Hi, this is Robin. May God's happiness, love, and joy be with you and yours this holiday season. Merry Christmas.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, the season is just about over. That little thing you had right there is not going to play much longer.
No, I'm surprised it's playing now.
I think I put the kill date on it to be today. I think today was the date, 29th, so it'll play today, I think. All right, we're talking about the news items of 2014. Here's one lighthearted one, and you and I participated in it. Mm-hmm. It was the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty
The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. A lot of people were doing that this year. It became the fad of the year, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And you and I did it and made a video of it, and I don't think any of the people we challenged did it.
Right.
I don't think any
I
of them.
don't think so either.
All right, another story that was big in 2014 was the first death from Ebola in the United States. Thomas Duncan died at a hospital in Dallas. Thomas Duncan was from Liberia.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do.
That was only October, so that wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
November, of course, the midterm elections. The Republicans will now, once they are sworn in next month, they will have control of both the House and the Senate, and we'll see if that does what they said it would do, or if it doesn't, or if once again we have a government that is always in the news for doing very little.
Yes.
In the month that we're ending, this past month, December, the big news of this month, if you're going to make one highlighted story, President Obama announcing the reestablishment of diplomatic relations with Cuba after more than 50 years.
Yep. We'll see how that works.
We'll see how that pans out. Yeah, we've already got some hotel chains that want to start building over there, and all kinds of stuff that you're starting to see happen, right?
Entrepreneurs want to put their businesses over there, take them out of the U.S. and do that, I've heard.
Taylor Swift was in the news a lot this year in showbiz. Her highly anticipated album called 1989 was the biggest selling debut week in more than a decade for any album. So why 1989, Robin? Is that the year she was born or something? Why did she pick that?
I'm not sure. I don't know the reason behind it, but it sounds right. 1989, so she'd be 24 right there, right?
Probably, yeah. General Motors recalled millions of cars over a faulty ignition switch that was linked to more than 30 deaths.
Yeah.
Some congressional hearings, some lawsuits. This is probably still going on, but the recalls of cars were like never ending.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Something was always wrong somewhere in the, recall for the cars. It was always not ending, like you said.
Another big story was the Kim Jong-un disappearance. Remember?
Oh yeah.
He was gone for a while. Had some kind of a mysterious disappearance back in September.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out it was ankle surgery. At least that's what they said, right?
Yes, that's what they
And then,
said.
of course, connecting that to the more recent story, which is that movie called The Interview.
Exactly.
Which apparently is not that big of a deal of a movie. Everybody says it's funny. It's not that funny, but it's funny and whatever.
Yeah,
So
right.
all that hoopla about nothing. And far as I'm telling you, sometimes you see some of these things, they are nothing more than publicity stunts. Whether that was one of them or not, I don't know.
Right, exactly. Well, now the politicians don't have to go see the movie in January when they go back in session because the movie's already been released. So don't spend the tax dollars to go see it.
Marijuana became legal in 4 states and the District of Columbia. Other states are considering decriminalizing its use.
Yep, that was a big, big story.
Big story, and you're starting to see the results of some of those changes as far as accidents on the highways, etc. Right?
Yep, but there are lives being saved through the medical marijuana side of it too. So, you're seeing that.
The hacking of retail stores. Target was a victim of a hack attack. Home Depot was a victim. I believe some of the fast food joints were victims of the hack attacks.
Yeah, that was scary. Still going on too.
The Secret Service had more problems than simply being caught with prostitutes. They had to worry about people actually jumping the fence and getting into the White House.
I know. They had to do their job, and they didn't do a good
They
job.
actually had people getting into the White House.
That's right. They didn't do a good job.
There was one guy holding a doll. Was it a SpongeBob SquarePants doll?
Yeah, I believe
Or
so.
one of those dolls anyway, and he just sat down on the front lawn. But that was after the guy who got in.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The Oscar Pistorius trial this year, the Blade Runner, who was shot to death. His girlfriend, who was in the bathroom, who he said he thought was a burglar, so he shot through the door to kill whoever was in the bathroom.
Exactly.
And somehow he just about got away with it.
Yeah, don't wonder that she wasn't in his bed or anything like that. He's like, oh my gosh.
Crazy.
He is so crazy.
Robin Williams was in the news this year because he killed himself.
He did.
Committed suicide by hanging. Didn't he hang himself to death?
Yes, he did. He hung himself.
Joan Rivers died after an operation. I believe her daughter, Melissa Rivers, is now suing, I think, the doctor who did the surgery.
Yeah, there was an error of judgment on his part.
So 2 big showbiz people who are no longer with us.
Mm-hmm. There were a few others too, but those were the 2.
Yeah, there was an actor. I can't remember his name. But there's
Laura
a lot.
McCall and of course Joe Cocker. He just,
The internet was abuzz after it was reported that hundreds of private photos of celebrities had been stolen and posted on various websites.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them were women and most of them were nude.
Of course, they were beautiful.
Jennifer Lawrence and Kate Upton were among those who confirmed the photos' authenticity. Hackers are believed to have been responsible. They were attacking the iCloud service to obtain the material.
Yes.
By the way, I've recently started to use the iCloud
Oh, okay.
on Apple. I didn't even know I had it on my computer. I stumbled upon the icon. I said, hey, I got that thing.
Nice.
Let's see. Any others? That's all I have right now.
We started something in Ocala. You came up with a great idea.
I did?
Yeah, the Queen's Wave for the children's cranial
We did the
facial.
Queen's Wave,
Yeah,
yes.
we tried and we got the celebrities in Ocala to, do the Queen's Wave.
That's a good thing to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
So I'll make that my last thing, but it's not. I don't know that it's really newsworthy. However, we did do something that we thought that made a difference. They believed it made a difference anyway.
Yes.
So we have been involved with the Children's Craniofacial Association for a while now, a long time actually. And if you don't know what they do or who they serve, well, they serve children who were born with a facial deformity that is heartbreaking. And I went down to
fatal sometimes.
Sometimes it kills them. Yes. Sometimes the surgery to correct it kills them, which is what happened to the young daughter of a young woman I met down there.
In Orlando.
I went down to Orlando to a picnic that they were having.
Yep, September.
And I got to meet some of them and made a video of it. And if you ever see the video, you will see why we were doing the Queen's Wave. The Queen's Wave was our attempt to have an ice bucket challenge.
Yes.
Didn't quite work, but it was fun to do.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot
And
of fun.
we should put that at the top of the list again.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Should be fun.
That would be a good thing.
That should be fun.
That would be a good thing.
But anyway, so, and you know what? And in addition to all that, the idea that we are continuing our tradition of broadcasting here in Ocala. I don't know where I was going with that.
Exactly.
Where I was going. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine giving way to clouds this afternoon, high 80 to 82. Cloudy tonight, low 64 to 66. Cloudy most of the day tomorrow. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later in the day, high 79 to 82. Tomorrow night, a shower in spots in the evening. Otherwise, cloudy and mild, low 60 to 67. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Steve Williams.
This weather brought to you by A&A Lockdock. Did you know that most break-ins happen during bad weather because it masks the sound? Don't be another victim. Protect your home and business today. Call A&A Lockdock, 352-867-1965. That's 352-867-1965.
On the next Intelligence for Your Life, saving money at the mall is as simple as understanding the science of neuromarketing. That's the term for the tactics retailers use to trick our brain into wanting to buy things. You'll impress your friends with this intelligence next. John Tesh Radio Show.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and that means budget cuts and number crunching. Now's the time of the year you're evaluating your expenses, planning your budget, and finding ways to save money and increase efficiency to maximize profits. Dex Imaging understands and delivers. Call Dex Imaging today for a free document management evaluation. Cutting your office expenses is as easy as calling Dex Imaging, 352-266-0333. Start saving money today and increase your bottom line with Dex Imaging. Printers, copiers, and fax machines that increase office productivity and save you money. No one understands your bottom line better. Call Dex Imaging today, 352-266-0333, or check them out on the web at deximaging.com. That's DEXimaging.com. Or call 352-266-0333 for your free document management evaluation today.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
All right, 16 minutes after 11 o'clock, just a nice-looking Monday morning. It's kind of a holiday week still. I know it's the lesser of the holidays, the New Year's holiday, right?
Yep.
So New Year's Eve is Wednesday. I don't know if you're doing anything. I always typically say, okay, I'm going to stay up till midnight, and then I don't. That's usually the way it works out.
It never happens for me. I fall asleep like that. It's just, got the TV on and I'm done.
So I don't watch TV. I don't have I have a TV, but I don't have any cable service for TV. I have cable for internet.
Yes.
So I can go on the internet and watch the Times Square cam and see what it shows me on midnight.
Yeah.
But I'll probably not stay awake. I know me. I'll hear some fireworks in my neighborhood and that'll be it.
Well, by the time I fall asleep, I've already seen the one from Australia and the one from England, because they have their,
Theirs is
they're
first.
always ahead of us. Theirs
Yeah.
is first. So
Yeah.
then it's like, waiting for ours. It's like I fall asleep on the couch. It's like, they're done by noon, okay?
So yesterday I watched a movie that was recommended, and I know everybody's in shock because I actually watched a movie that's relatively recent.
Mhm.
It was called Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
It's the story, the Walt Disney story, and the P.T. Travers, was that her name?
I think so.
Pamela Travers?
Yeah, I think
Who wrote the books that Mary Poppins movie is based on, right?
Uh-huh.
And I really went into the movie. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but I want to tell you this. If you've never seen it, well, let me tell you this, first of all.
Okay.
Galen Unald had recommended that I watch it. Okay. So I was, kind of yesterday was one of those days where I had everything I was going to do was done. And I ended up with more day left than I normally have left at the end of the day.
Yes.
So I said, okay, I'm going to do this movie watching thing. So I watched it on my computer on iTunes. But before I chose that movie, I went to Amazon to look at the reviews. And the reviews for this movie are either 5 stars or 1 star. And there's probably a few in between. So I wanted to see, well, what are the 1-star people saying? Well, they're saying it's horrible. And they're saying the reason it's horrible is because, now listen to this.
Okay.
Because the movie depicts the woman, Mrs. Travers, I think is her name. I might be saying her name wrong, who wrote the Mary Poppins stories, depicting her to be, glorifying her, in other words. And the person who wrote the review said, she doesn't need to be glorified. She was cruel. She was mean. La, 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 la. Okay, right. And then somebody else said that it's glorifying Walt Disney. Well, after watching the movie, it doesn't do those things. It doesn't do that at all. It shows them as hard-headed, serious, business-minded, stubborn people.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from their talents, but it shows them in that light. So I was thinking, okay, the people who wrote those 1-star reviews didn't watch the film. But the film is in the trailer is portrayed as a story of the efforts of Walt Disney to get the rights from Mrs. Travers, Pamela Travers, I think is her name, to be able to do the movie Mary Poppins. And of course, Walt Disney's creative team was already putting this together. With his belief that they would eventually have the rights to it. And he had been trying for 20 years to get the rights to this movie.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Okay. Without spoiling the movie, I'm going to tell you this, that is indeed what the movie is about. However, the real story of this movie is not that at all. The real story, and all the reviews that were positive, to me, didn't even pick up on this. Even the positive ones didn't pick up on this. The real story is in Pamela Travers' childhood flashbacks. That is the real story. That is the real story. So when you watch this movie, assuming that this is true, and I think it is, then you understand that her childhood and how we benefited from her childhood was through this story called Mary Poppins. That's how we benefited from it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we benefited from it from before it was a movie, from when it was just a book. Because her books were apparently very, very popular to compare them to Harry Potter. They were popular among children, especially young girls.
Yeah.
They loved. Did you ever read the Mary Poppins books?
No, I never did.
See, I never did either.
I've been getting more educated.
But so now the Mary Poppins books, and the way the movie portrayed it is that there were some more Mary Poppins books written after the movie was made that she refused to have another movie made based on those new books. So there were other books.
Yeah, because I had gone down to the stage theater in Tampa. What was it, 2 years ago, with my mother, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew, and we went down to see Mary Poppins on stage, which was different than the movie.
Really?
So, yeah, so it was said to be based on her book, too.
So,
that was really incredible.
So the movie's called Saving Mr. Banks,
yes,
right? And I went through the whole movie thinking, who the heck is Mr. Banks? Because the name Mr. Banks doesn't come up at all. And then I kind of figured it out that Mr. Banks is the character in the movie Mary Poppins.
Right, he's the
which I'll
dad.
just leave it like that. He's the dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're ever interested and you're reading the negative reviews on Amazon, I don't think those people watched the movie.
I don't ever go to see a movie because it's a good review or a bad review. I just go see a movie because I think I like it.
No, really? Well, see, sometimes I do read the reviews. All right. Well, anyway, so speaking of Walt Disney, we are right down the road from Walt Disney World.
Yes, we are.
We were talking about the best places to go for New Year's Eve. Well, one of the best places is Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
One of the best New Year's Eve parties in Walt Disney World is in Epcot, believe it or not, of all the places.
Oh my gosh.
They have this evening thing that they're doing over in Epcot for New Year's Eve.
Oh, how nice.
It's the pinnacle of the book that we talked about some time ago.
Oh, gee, I can't remember the name of it now.
But anyway, if you're going to Disney, I have the here at the mall we have the codes of conduct, the code of conduct for the mall.
Yes.
Things you can and cannot do.
That's right.
I have 25 items from the Walt Disney World Code of Conduct that you as a visitor are expected to abide by.
Oh my gosh.
Are you ready for these?
Okay.
Number 1, you may not bring your own alcoholic drinks into the Walt Disney World parks.
Oh, okay.
You may not bring your own alcohol. Number 2, you may not carry a weapon into Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
You knew that, right?
That.
You knew
Yes,
that,
I
right?
did. I knew that.
So your right to bear arms
Leave our weapons in the
does
car.
not go into the parks at Disney.
No.
As an American citizen, you have a right anywhere but there.
Exactly.
That is its own country.
Exactly.
You may not use a skateboard in any Disney park.
Oh, I believe that. I didn't realize it was in the code. I didn't even know they had a code.
It's in the Code of Conduct. You can't use a skateboard
knew that.
in any Disney park. You may not wear a mask unless for medical purposes.
Oh.
You may not wear a mask.
Oh, yeah, that was a big thing during the Halloween, Mickey's Very Merry Halloween and stuff. You could wear a costume, but not a mask.
Ah, well, let me jump to that one since you said that.
Okay.
You may not wear a costume if you're an adult.
Oh.
And even as a child, you can't wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So children can wear costumes, but not masks. And nobody can wear a mask unless it's a medical mask.
That's right.
Of some
And
sort.
plus that was another big story, that lady and that fella dressed up as Prince Charming and Cinderella or something, and they kicked him out of the park. That's right, because they weren't supposed to do that.
Another thing in the Code of Conduct for Disney World is you may not sit in a folding chair. I presume that means you may not bring a folding chair with you. You cannot bring a folding chair. Can you imagine that? You're waiting in line. I'm just going to sit here.
Now that's a good idea. That's a real good idea. One of those you sling over your shoulder. Yeah, I like that.
The next one, you may not bring a pet into Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah, they have kennels.
Unless it's a service animal.
Yep, they have kennels.
You may not, while you're in the Disney on the Disney property, sell anything or distribute anything.
No.
Hey, I got some cigarettes here. If you're going to bring a stroller for the kids, it may not be larger than 36 inches by 52 inches.
Oh, I never knew that.
36 by 52. You got to measure it before you bring it.
I never knew that.
You may not use profanity in any language, including sign language.
Oh.
Wow. Not that I would try to, but
Yeah.
but any language.
Wow.
How would you know that? I mean, if somebody is speaking
Vulcan.
curse words in Swahili or something.
Yeah, right, exactly.
How would you know that? Sign language. I think I know some sign language curse words.
Yeah.
You may not run. You are not allowed to run in Walt Disney World unless, of course, they're having a run.
Yeah.
Like a marathon or
Yeah,
something.
we've witnessed that. They had the Iron Man there that one year.
Yeah.
And we witnessed that.
You may not take off your shoes or your shirt in the parks. I guess that would be with the exception of the water parks.
Right. And the splash zones in Disney World, if you don't want to, in the Magic Kingdom where the
You
water
can't take your
comes
shirt
from.
off, though.
No, but I think I've seen little children
With their shoes off?
Yeah. You don't want their shoes to get.
Here's an interesting one because I don't know what the word large, how large is large. You may not bring a large tripod into Disney World.
Oh my gosh. How large is large?
I don't know how large is large.
Yeah, maybe like a television size large.
How many people have you seen violate this one? You may not take flash photography in any indoor attraction.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people violate that one.
Plenty of people violating that.
Listen to this one. You may not fly a drone
Oh.
in any of the Disney parks.
Now this is an updated list.
It is an updated list. I got it last night, yesterday.
This is great.
You may not fly a drone.
Yeah.
Inappropriate tattoos must be covered. If you have an inappropriate tattoo, maybe a curse word or a naked lady or something,
Okay.
inappropriate tattoos must be covered.
But they have gay day, though.
What does that mean? They still got to cover their tattoos.
Yeah, that's right.
They have gay day. No, they don't have gay day.
Oh.
Disney does not have a gay day.
Oh, no, but they have the organization.
The organizations who are representing gay people will say, hey, let's all go to Disney on such and such a date.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes,
Okay.
they do. But Disney, it's nothing to do with Disney.
Okay.
It would just be like all of the Lutherans saying it's Lutheran Day at Disney.
Oh,
so
right.
all the Lutherans say, yeah, let's go on this day.
That's right. Hey,
Lutheran Day.
Brian.
Hey, Brian. You may not feed the animals that you find in Disney World. I guess that would be an animal kingdom.
Yeah.
Suitcases, coolers, backpacks may not be larger than 24 inches by 15 inches by 18 inches.
Who would bring a suitcase?
Smoking in a non-designated area is strictly enforced and may result in your expulsion from the park.
Oh, yeah. You can't go walking around smoking a cigarette anymore. You have to be stationary in that area.
You may not blow up a balloon in the animal kingdom.
Oh.
When they say blow up, I don't know if they mean pop or inflate.
Maybe inflate because it could get away from you and then go.
You may not give a speech without prior permission.
Oh, okay.
You're not allowed to cut in line or join a group that's already in line.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? You can't join a group already in line.
I didn't know that.
You can't take a movie. Can't make a movie or a commercial. All right, we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Authorities now say 7 bodies have been found after a fire in a Greek ferry boat in the Adriatic Sea. All of the survivors now off the boat.
It proved to be quite a big fire, and then we got out on deck. The flames were huge. It was actually just very scary.
Nick Channing Williams, one of the 400 plus on the ferry. The search goes on in the Java Sea for a missing Air Asia jet with 162 on board.
Australian planes reported seeing objects in the sea during their search for the missing aircraft, and Indonesia's vice president says the debris could be from the plane, but other Indonesian officials say there is insufficient evidence at the moment.
Fox's David Piper. NFL coaches losing their jobs with the end of the regular season. Atlanta coach Mike Smith and Rex Ryan of the New York Jets, who also gave GM John Idzik his walking papers. There's also word the Chicago Bears are firing GM Phil Emery and coach Mark Trestman. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Do you run a small business? Do you want it to grow? Well, then don't let your business slow down or shut down because you lost your computer files. Get Carbonite and your files will be backed up to the cloud automatically. No matter how many computers, servers, or external drives you have, Carbonite has an affordable plan. Start a free trial today at Carbonite.com. No credit card required. Use offer code BACKITUP and get 2 free bonus months with purchase. Carbonite.com. Offer code BACKITUP.
How would you like to have customized professional business cards that give you the confidence you need for every new business opportunity without needing any design experience? With Vistaprint, you can. Because Vistaprint makes it so simple for business owners and business dreamers to get the customized tools they need to help their business thrive. And right now, you can get 500 high-quality professional business cards for just $9.99. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Go to Vistaprint.com today and enter promo code 3366 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3366.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Here are today's headlines from the source WOCA. The Florida Highway Patrol is reporting that a 50-year-old woman died from injuries sustained in a 2-vehicle accident on Friday night. The woman is identified in the report as Carolia D. Walker of Ocala. The accident happened on County Road 25A and Northwest 100th Street. According to the report, Walker was driving a 2003 Honda Civic heading west and was stopped for a stop sign on Northwest 100th Street. As Walker proceeded through the intersection, a second collision vehicle described as a 2007 Ford Fusion was traveling south on County Road 25A and struck Walker's car. The driver of the Ford Fusion is identified as 30-year-old Candace Perry of Ocala. The force of the collision caused the Honda Civic to spin around, and Walker was ejected from her vehicle. The car then ran over Walker as it spun around, killing her. Perry's vehicle then struck a wooden utility pole. Perry was transported to Ocala Regional Medical Center, where she was listed in serious condition. In Seminole County, one person was killed and another person is missing after an airboat crashed into the State Road 417 bridge over Lake Jessup. 3 people were also injured in the accident and have been transported to area hospitals, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Crews are currently searching for an adult male. No other information was immediately available. The U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, or DRL for short, is offering up to $11 million in funding for programs that will foster civil, political, and labor rights in Cuba. The Bureau is requesting organizations to submit statements of interest that outline these programs, according to a public notice the department released this week. The statements of interest will be followed by a period of formal and more detailed proposals when select organizations will expand on their ideas. Programs should include concrete initiatives and come from experienced organizations, according to the statement. The statement reads directly, quote, DRL programs in Cuba aim to strengthen on-island independent civil society capacity to further the rights and interests of Cuban citizens and to overcome the limitations that have been imposed by the Cuban government on citizens' civil, political, and labor rights, unquote. The approximately $11 million in funding will be offered pending the availability of resources. Marion County Solid Waste has announced that recycling centers now offer single-stream recycling, so all household recyclables can be tossed into the same container, and there is no need to separate items. The announcement clarifies that if you are disposing of Christmas trees, you will need to remove decorations from the tree, as well as any ribbons and tape from gift boxes. Also, cans and food containers should be rinsed out before recycling. Old electronic items can only be recycled at special events throughout the county. In January, at the following locations and dates: January 10th from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. at the Denellen Recycling Center, January 17th from 7 till 5 at the McPherson Governmental Complex, January 24th from 7 to 5 at the Newton Recycling Center, January 31st from 7 to 5 at the Salt Springs Recycling Center. For more information, visit marioncountyfl.org/solid waste or call 352-671-8465. And finally, no tickets matched all 6 Florida Lotto numbers in Saturday's Lotto drawing, so the jackpot now rises to $8 million. Florida lottery officials said yesterday that a total of 29 tickets matched 5 numbers. Each of those